I hope you enjoyed that. Last time I came here, I talked about my story. I really enjoyed doing that. I love to share with the people the things that have brought me to become the person I am today. So I live in Los Angeles. I'm originally from here, in Brooklyn Center. My family still lives here, my mom and dad at least. And I am a mind and body coach. I like to share with people the things that inspire me, the things that help me be a happier and healthier person. Because at some point, after a lot of tragedy, and after a lot of grieving, after losing some very close people to suicide, and then recently to cancer, and other things like just natural, I recognize a need to share with people the things that have really inspired me and things that I love about life. And my work for a very long time was filmmaking, writing, directing, acting, some editing, and working with kids as a youth coordinator, youth mentor. Currently I work at an after-school program in Los Angeles. But I love doing this. I love bringing people together in a space where you can just be you. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for sharing this afternoon with me, and my mom and my sister are here too, which is nice. And thank Alicia for bringing me back. Thank the Estates, Fridley for bringing me here. I love coming here. I love seeing the faces. It's going to get real fast. I mean, it already has, so I appreciate everyone. There she is. You're back. And, most of the time when I coach, most of the time when I do speaking, it's for people who are looking for something like help with their career, or help with their health, or help with losing weight even, right? And so when I was thinking about what am I going to share with all of you today, it took me a while, because all of you, one of you has more experience than I do alone. So combined, I mean, it can be, kind of nerve-wracking in the beginning, because it was like, well, what am I going to say? And then it hit me. This is Jack Spizale Sr. He didn't live too far from here. He grew up in Minneapolis, Crystal, Minnesota. When I met him, he was 76 years old. I was, I think, 15, a naive kid, not very confident. And but I met him, and he started teaching me martial arts. He started teaching me kung fu. He has since passed away. He was 90 when he passed away, about a couple years ago. And we remain best friends through and through. It's the kind of friendship that still brings tears to me. I remember going over to him and his wife's house for homemade spaghetti. And just sitting down and just learning about life from him, hearing about World War II from a perspective of somebody who actually experienced it. I could never keep up with the stories, because to this day I'm like, how many kids? It's like every time we talk, it's like another kid. There was another kid. There's like, I don't know, it was like 6 kids or 8 kids. But one of the last times that so this is us. One of the last times that we spent together, he shared with me something that has stuck with me. He said, it's hard to see your friends little by little leaving. And it just like, that just kind of like sat like a little, just kind of remained in my heart for a while. And then, this was one of the last times that we took Jack out. Me and the boys, the guys that we do martial arts with, we took him out to eat, and I think he was 89 here. He had a really good time. And I remember going in the car, and he he rolled down the window, and he said, and he pointed over yonder, and he said, I used to fish right over there. Right? So that was a moment that I'll never forget, but I also know that he'll never forget. Okay, and this is us having our meal, and then when we dropped him off, he said, this was the best day of my life, thank you boys. At 89, 90 years old, all the experiences that he has had, he said, this was the best day of my life. That really just kind of cemented like something in me that I will have for the rest of my life. And this is why I think it's so important for us to really precious moments together, really take stock in what we're doing and our choices that we make. Because we all agreed that day to go take him out, and it's really nice that he returned the favor just by reminding us how important we are in his life. This was the last time that I saw him. I was just about to move to LA, and I knew I had a feeling in my heart that this would be the last time. And I remember walking him to the elevator and putting the scarf around him because it was probably like winter, and just giving him a hug, and something in me just said, this is probably the last time, and you gotta be okay with that. And then I got a phone call, like probably 6 months later, letting me know that he was no longer here. But I really cherish our friendship, and so I really like this book, Tuesdays with Morrie, by Mitch Albom. And in the book, there's lots of great quotes, but one of them is, it's like going back to being a child again. Someone to bathe you, someone to lift you, someone to wipe you. We all know how to be a child. It's all inside of us. For me, it's just remembering how to enjoy it. And then the last thing I just want to read before I get into my thing. Take my condition, the things I'm supposed to be embarrassed about now, not being able to walk, not being able to wipe my ass, waking up some mornings wanting to cry. There is nothing innately embarrassing about them. It's the same for women not being thin enough or men not being rich enough. It's just what our culture would have you believe. Don't believe it. The things that Jack said to me, things like, it's hard to see people go that were once part of your life. It's hard to lose your independence. Like, he kept on driving, even to the point where we knew that it was probably not safe. And it was just really hard to see that. But watching him, observing him, I learned a lot about when it's my time, I can be better prepared for that. Okay? But I did some research, and they were saying that the biggest concern with seniors is things like pain, worry, having to depend on others, loneliness, and one that I came up with my friend that he shared about his grandma is losing your identity, losing your role. If you were once like grandma, or if you were once, the thing that you used to do, you may not be able to do it the same way anymore. So I just wanted to now just kind of see if, does what I have, what I just like shared, does that resonate with some of you in the room here?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Thank you.
It resonated because we used to have Cub Scouts, and that was the joy of my life, to have a person like that in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And enjoy having friends and loving one another as a whole,
Yeah.
and as a community of people get together, enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. That's
Anybody else have anything that
it's not. But
when I was talking, it resonated with you, or something that you're experiencing that you'd like to share? Anyone?
I don't like the fact I can work anymore or use my legs like I used to. I was used to getting up every day, running around, doing what I wanted, and working. Now that doesn't happen.
Right. A little more difficult.
Shoveling snow.
You miss that?
Yeah, I do. I used to love to be outside shoveling.
Love it.
she loves working.
Being outside working.
Oh,
Anyone else? Okay, so as part of identifying those things, right? Even though, so I do a lot of work with helping people face the things that are uncomfortable, their pain. I'm not like a physical therapist, but it's really about like understanding how our mind, our body, and our spirits really connect to our pain. You know, like for me, it was going back and revisiting the two very close people in my life, my best friend and my grandmother, to suicide. There's nothing I can do about it. I didn't make that choice. They made that choice. It's something I have to live with. Just like all the stuff, it's our nature. It's what's happened to us for whatever reason. Keep the mind sharp. What are some things that you can do to keep the mind sharp? I see something right there.
Puzzles, books.
Puzzles, okay. Puzzles, reading,
Documentaries.
like watching documentaries.
Yep.
Okay, viewing docs. Great. This is a nice list. Do you want to take it? Well, you don't need a picture, right? This is what you guys already do.
I'll take one.
Oh, okay.
What I like to do is take and draw your problems on paper,
Oh, wow.
and you can get rid of that feeling while you can do that.
So draw your actual, like, what you're experiencing.
Experiencing, yeah.
That's fantastic. Wow. I'm gonna use that. Wow, thank you. That's fantastic. There's something really powerful about putting something like tangible, putting something on paper.
You know, like a tree growing tall in the air.
Yes.
what do you do, how can you get over a death?
How do you get over death? Wow.
Yeah, because I have,
Yeah.
my two important people died, and it's been really hard.
Right. Is it okay if I put it out there for your fellow neighbors and because I have stuff definitely, but I think it's always nice to hear from the people that are in the room.
Use good memories.
Use
The good memories.
the good memories. Okay, keep talking. I'm gonna just write this stuff out. Go ahead, keep talking.
And use a pastor. If you got a pastor for the church.
Okay. So remember the memories.
Yeah.
Good memories.
Remember the golden years of your life.
See
Pastor
someone.
of your church.
Okay. Pastor or someone that helps you like spiritually in that sense.
Spiritually, yeah.
Spiritual
Guidance.
guidance. Thank you. I was looking for the word. Okay.
You can use a funeral home too, because they have a lot of material that you can use.
Well, this is great. I think you'll like what I have to share.
Stay busy.
Yeah.
And
Stay
I
busy.
think that's the key, sharing.
Sharing.
Yes.
Yes.
Share your wonderful dreams of yesterday. And
Anyone else?
Sharing relatives that you probably haven't talked to before for a long time, sharing your thoughts.
Sharing your thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. So sharing your thoughts, expressing yourself. Mom and I talk about that a lot. Especially like when she was going through her cancer, how she, talking about it, right? And even now, even now she's better and healthier. She loves to talk about it, so she can help other people, like empathize with that. All right, you ready for mine? All right, this is a little tough, but so one thing that has really helped me is to see that, and this is the hardest thing, right? But that's what I'm about now, is the things that are painful, the things that are uncomfortable, we have to start really seeing it as the things that are comfortable, the things that feel good, right? Everything's a process. Everything is that's what makes us human, is the light and the darkness, okay? So what has helped me is really to see that, and this is the hardest thing, is because we grow attachments, right? The closer we are to somebody, we grow attachment. We get to know them better and better, which is awesome. But the reality is that part of being human is also learning to let go. Learning that the time spent with them hopefully has been amazing. Hopefully has been like rock star. That's why I wanted to show you my relationship with Seafood Jack, because I can still remember every moment I spent with him, right? There are days where I sit and I think about him. But there are more days now where I just know he embodies me in everything that I do, that I don't really need to think about him as much. I was talking to my sister even the other day. I was like, I haven't been to Seafood Jack's gravesite in a while. I haven't been to my best friend Des, who committed suicide at his grave, in a while. And it's because I didn't need to anymore. And we were talking about maybe making a stop there. Well, I've been so focused on doing other things, seeing people. It's like, maybe not this trip, but maybe the next trip, when I come back, we'll do that, right? But it takes time. It takes time. But I think what has really helped me is just to see it as it's a process, and that's why we have to. One of my bullet points is really be present and be careful how we're making our choices, right? Like, you might have an argument with that person and then find out tomorrow they're not there. So why not take some time, breathe. I'm really a big person on breathing. Take a deep breath. Exhale. Listen to what's happening. Just listen. Lots of times we don't listen, right? Especially growing up here in America, like it's very difficult sometimes to just let's encourage people to listen. Let's encourage people to just breathe. And right now is a really good timing. There's more health and wellness being encouraged. There's more people doing yoga on a large scale. There's people doing meditation on a large scale. But it comes to you doing it for yourself, right? It comes to you taking that time. It seems like work, and it kind of is. But if it makes you feel better, don't you want to do that, right? So I do all these things, right? I stay busy. I share. Funeral home, when it happens. I have my spiritual guidance, my family, my martial art instructor, my new one, and I remember the memories. But what helps me is just knowing that the time with them, for whatever reason, right? And this is where I think I have a spiritual connection. I choose that. I choose that to live my life knowing that there's some greater energy that's kind of helping me, guiding me, and just being present, loving yourself, because that's what they would want.
You know what I do with it?
Yes.
I look at what happened, I accept it for what it is,
Yeah,
and I sort it out that way.
that's great.
Isn't it a lot like forgiveness?
Yeah.
I mean, when you forgive somebody for whatever indiscretion, basically dealing with it all in the same way.
Even though it wasn't your responsibility for what happened, you still feel guilty
And
enough.
then my husband passed.
Like, oh, I didn't spend enough time with that person, or I wish I had done this. But it's like, yeah, forgiving yourself, forgiving them, and just proceeding from there.
Yeah, okay.
Really good stuff.
Right.
Really good stuff. Yeah, you got something to add to it?
It's like when the world went to war, it's it's a process like that. You gotta narrow it down and forgive one another for being angry and being self.
So I did also want to add that if it's required, I think professional help is I encourage that, right? If it gets to a point where it's difficult to do it, and all these things that we're talking about, all these things that we're sharing, the things that I'm sharing, they're not. It's not a one-all be-all, right? It takes time. But I think my biggest thing is trying to encourage all of you, is to recognize that it's okay, right? To recognize like this is part of life. You gotta be, like, you just gotta be okay with it, because you still have the life to live. Be more vulnerable. Okay? So I have a little thing that I wrote here. Feel what you feel what you fear, and face what you fear. Right? I do boxing back in LA. I do boxing and martial arts. It has really taught me to face the things that feel dangerous, feel scary, feel like I'm a every time you spar somebody, you gotta face that. But I would rather choose to play. I would rather choose to put action instead of not. I don't want to sit on the sidelines. Right? I want to live my life. So by learning to face the thing, but also to be vulnerable in that thing, has worked wonders.
Allow yourself to be hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so my second point is they're just words, but as I've gotten older, I realize like this is one of the most important things.
You need to make the words a reality in your life.
It's funny, this actually just came up this morning, yesterday, in our morning group that we did.
Yeah.
This morning we did kind of a normal Bible study, yesterday the news or something, and the idea came up of loving, you have to love yourself first before you can really give your love to other people, or if you're not loving yourself. They were talking about how it might be hard to accept love from other people, and we talked a lot about forgiveness last 4 days.
That's great. Practice being more and more grateful. So love yourself and being grateful. I always use those hand in hand for myself and when I'm talking to people. Forgive yourself. And then this one I think is key. Stop judging yourself for your previous choices. It's hard.
That's true.
Practice letting go of the would have, could have, should have. It's hard, and I know these are just words, but I find more and more that if I encourage myself or if I encourage others to do that, it just kind of changes. It changes. I talk a lot about the body, and it changes like how you feel. I get excited now because I've taken the time to do these things, right? And then just move forward. Okay, and then the third one, which I talked about last time I was here, live for the moment. Moment to moment, a little more. Okay? I do martial arts, I do boxing. I also am learning a lot about Buddhist philosophy, and it's really resonating with me, it's really connecting to me. And a lot of it is just letting go and being in the moment and living it moment to moment to moment. Right? So when you're having a hard time making a choice in your day, stop. Think about your choices. What's this going to do to me? Do I feel good? How does my body feel about this choice? All right? If something in your body makes you feel like excited, makes you feel like, yeah, let's do this thing, then proceed. If something makes you feel like, upset stomach or something like that, and maybe step back and look at the situation a little bit more, right? Analyze it a little bit more, right? But be in the moment.
No, my husband used to say is live and let live.
Live and let live. Nice. There's this podcast I like to listen to. It's called On Purpose. And he had a guest on there, the host named Shay Shetty. He had a host on there, and she was talking about how there's this innate, I forgot how she worded it, but basically being human, there's something inside of us, like an intuition, or there's something that we don't have to do anything, and our bodies already have the answer, right? So lots of times, I'll just tell you, like there was a moment in here, I think it was after I showed about Seafood Jack, and it was when you asked the question about how do you get over it. There's something in my body that felt like this sudden rush of like connection to all of you. I think it was because for a very long time I felt by myself. For a very long time I felt like, how am I going to get through this? But then I've been working really hard on the inner, right? Been working really hard on the inner that has been helping in all my relationships now. So I love seeing, I mean, this is why I do what I do, but I love when there's moments where you can just kind of breathe and kind of feel the room and kind of see like we're truly all in this together. Unless you choose not to be, right? Everything's a choice, right? Like someone could have heard what you said and be like, you know what, psst, right? And that's a choice.
Yeah.
But maybe somebody needs it. So they choose to hear, they choose to be present, they choose to empathize, right? And that's what I love about what I do. It gives me an opportunity to just be present with all of you and just like there's something about being human that is just really cool about just being in a space and just like listening and feeling. And yeah, you could call it love, right? Lots of people like to call it love.
It's a time to love, the time for peace, the time for joy. And one thing, God cares, and He always brings a picture that you really want.
Nice. All right, and then I just have two more, and I'll leave the floor for any questions. And then the last one, my favorite. Okay, number 4. How do you stay active?
Oh, I got all kinds of things. I go outside, I work puzzles, I work jigsaw puzzles. Sometimes I'll just sit down and scribble a bunch of stuff on paper, and I take part in Alicia's activities and bingo and all that stuff. I'm always going.
There you go, you're proactive.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Some days are going to be tough, right? One second. Some days are going to be tough. Some days you're not going to want to do it, and that's okay, right? But just make sure that you have more days where you do want to do it.
Sometimes we have a tendency to beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
And sometimes the things we do it for are not done. Like you said, you gotta love yourself. And be willing to share your love with others.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Love it. So stay active. There's lots of ways you can do it, right? But I love it how you brought the mind aspect as well, right? It's not just the physical. It's not just lifting weights, right? It's not just doing aerobics or yoga or swimming. I guess swimming is good. But just stay active. Be in nature. That's another one. I forgot that one. Be in nature, right? Sometimes just being in nature allows your body to activate all of its senses. Good. Yeah, right? Does its thing.
A puppy.
Was that? Oh, you know what? Thank you for bringing that up. My roommate is a woman who boards dogs and trains dogs. I asked her, when I do this talk, what advice do you have? She said, bring a dog. So I called my buddy Chris. I said, hey, what are you doing at 2 o'clock on this day? I'm working. Oh man. And then I don't know his dog well enough to bring the dog in. But then I saw that you guys have done that before. So thank you for taking that out my guilty conscience. But yes, holding a dog, right? Playing with the dog. Yeah.
Or a child.
Or your child.
You don't have to talk here.
Something about that, right?
Dorothy's really
Do the things that you're passionate about, your interest, gardening, whatever it is, swimming, but just stay active. It's good. This is our instrument. We got to keep it going as long as we can. That's what I admired about Seafood Jack, right? No matter what, you kept going.
Keep your mind rolling.
That's right. Keep your mind going. Okay, breathe. I'm a big believer on meditation, but there's so many ways of meditation, right? There's movement meditation, there's sitting meditation, there's when you're making something, that's a form of meditation, all right? I prefer the sitting down and sometimes like a guided meditation. I like to listen to the words, but sometimes I'll just do it on my own, depending on where I am. If it's really loud and crazy, sometimes I'll just sit down and I'll just take a moment for myself. And I practice with all that chaos to train myself that at any moment in time I can be very calm. And the martial arts training has really helped with that. Before we go, I want to do just a little breathing exercise. I always like to do that. And then that'll be it. And if you guys have any questions, we can do that. And then I have one more quote that I want to leave with you. All right, so if you can just, the best that you can in your chairs, okay? If you can't, no worries. If you can arch your back straight as much as you can, okay? The reason why the back is so important to be straight, all right, is because it needs that to activate, right? It's just like if you're stuffing it, it doesn't activate as easy. Okay, so that's why when people like this, if you can't, if your muscles can't do it, that's okay. But what you want to try to do is just try to stick the chest out, right? When you stick the chest out, it arches the back. And then I remember my weight training friends. Yeah, go ahead.
Shoulders back.
Shoulders back. Yeah. Okay. Chest and shoulders back. Thank you. A weight training friend of mine said, "Stick your butt." Stick your butt back, right? And I was like, well, really? It's like, kind of feels funny, but I tell you, it works, okay? So let's do that.
It allows the lungs to inflate too.
Yeah, excellent, I love that. Okay, all we're gonna do, you can close your eyes and keep them open, it don't matter, there's no right or wrong. Okay, so we're gonna breathe in, and then we're gonna exhale, right? And we're gonna it's gonna take a deep breath. Ready? 1. Exhale.
In through the nose, out through the mouth.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now, for fun, when you exhale, I want you to sigh. And it might be a little embarrassing in the beginning, but it's kind of fun. Okay, so ready? Inhale. There you go. All right, let's do another one like that. Inhale, big deep breath. Exhale. Good.
That was cleansing.
Yeah, right? Relax your shoulders. And then what I like to do is I just like to take a moment and just really let my body access life, access the environment, access the people, whatever the situation that I'm in, just access it. And then just to remind yourself that you are here. And just by being here, you are enough. One more deep breath in, and you don't have to sigh on this one. This one's just for yourself. Okay, I'm going to read you the quote. Now is the time to know that all you do is sacred. Now is the time to understand that all your ideas of right and wrong were just a child's training wheels, to be laid aside when you finally live with veracity and love. Now is the time for the world to know that every thought and action is sacred. This is the time for you to compute the impossibility that there is anything but grace. Now is the season to know that everything you do is sacred. I found that on a TED Talk that I really liked. Thank you, Alicia, for inviting me again. I enjoy coming here, being present with you. Thank you for allowing me to be me in its fullest light. I try to be a beacon, I try to shine for everyone, because I think all of us need to live our lives shining. And even if you're not sure about yourself shining, it's a little dull, keep going until you get to that point where it is shining. Right? And surround yourself with people who believe in that, and get rid of the people that don't. Okay. Thank you again. If you have any questions, please ask Alicia. I'll be here for a little while. We'll be here just for a little bit, but appreciate all of you, and I look forward to seeing you again. Yeah, love and gratitude. You are worthy, you are enough, and you are loved. All right.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.